All right, here we are in lesson 23, mini project flyer game. We are on bubble 2. Create sprites that you'll use in your program. You already have a sprite, but you can change its animation. Okay, player, target, obstacles. You can make them anything you want. I'm just going to keep the same ones because why not? So, game setup, which is here. Create player, target, and obstacles. So we have our player done. We need our target and our obstacles. Okay. So basically we're just going to copy this and then put our new coin and rocks in. So let's get to it. Okay, we'll call this one coin. And we'll put this down here somewhere like 325, 325. And then we'll set the animation for the coin to be a coin. And then let's run it and see what's going on. Alright, we don't have to change the size. That's a good size. So now let's do the same thing for the rock. Okay. Create sprite. And we'll call this rock. Actually, we'll call it rock 1. And then set the animation. Rock 1. And it'll be a rock. And then we want to have this rock starting over here, right? Because it's going to be going to the right. So off the board. And we know this is the x coordinate of 0 right here. So let's start it off at like -5. Let's go -10, why not? Okay, -10. So it's going to be over here, off here somewhere. And how about a y of 100? So it's going to be going across this way. Alright, now we need to have the rock moving, right? So let's go ahead and get to the velocity. The x velocity of rock 1. So the velocity of it going on the x plane this way to the right. And we know it's counting up, so it's got to be a positive number. Let's go 3. Oh, rock 1. Okay, let's check it out and see what's happening. Alright, that looks good. So now we're going to do the same thing, but with a rock going down, the y velocity. So let's go ahead and create the rock 2. And you can call this whatever you want. I'm just calling it rock 2 because I'm lazy. And we want the sprite to be off the game board, starting off right, because it's going to be dropping down here. So that would be like a y of -10. -10. And maybe have it coming down right here. So that would be an x of like 300. And we'll call this rock 2 because they have to agree, have the same names. And then the velocity, instead of x, it's going to be going down, so it's y. So velocity y, rock 2. And again, this is 0. This is 400, so it's going to be a positive number because it's going down. So let's go 3 on that one as well. And let's see what's happening. Oh, I didn't set the animation. Amateur error. Okay. Now let's try it again. There we go. Alright. It all works, so we're done with this one. Alright. So we're running it. He's just floating there. So there's no gravity. He's not dropping down. So we need to add falling. So let's find falling. That's line 19. And this is a velocity thing, right? Velocity, the speed. So, and he's falling, which would be on the y, because the y is the up and the down. So velocity, and the guy's name is player. Alright, player velocity, y, equals and then we want speed, right? And again, it's counting up, so it's going to be a positive number because that's 0, that's 400. So we need that math in there. Now player velocity y plus, let's try 0.5 first, 0.5. Alright, now let's see what happens. Yep. It works. Alright. So we're done with 3. Okay. Next, the player needs to jump when the user presses the up arrow. So that's in player controls, and we're adding the conditional if. So here we are at 25, 26. Change the y velocity when the user clicks up. So if the key down is up, then we want the player velocity, and that's on the y because it's up and down, to be, and that's player. Alright, now we want him to be going up, right? And we know this is 400, this is 0, so it's going to be going negative, right? Because it's decreasing. So let's go -5 and see what happens. And it works, right? I'm hitting the up button, and he's doing his little thing. Cool. Alright, that works. You know what? Let's make it 7. But I mean, you could do whatever you want. Alright, finish. Continue. Alright. flyer should also be able to float left and right. Add a conditional that decreases the sprite's velocity x when the left arrow is pressed, and E increases. So decreases minus, increases plus. Use a counter pattern and the velocity x block. Okay, we've done that before. All right. Number 31, decrease this x velocity when the user clicks left. All right, so we're going to get our if key down left, right? Because if the left key is pressed, we got to change that to left. If the left key is pressed, the velocity on the x this time, velocity x, and its player equals, and then we get our math in there, and it's going left, right? So it's going this way, and we see it's counting down, so that would be minus, right? Because it's counting down. So drop in that minus, get our velocity x, calling it player, and let's go minus 5. Alright, run it. Okay, that's working. Oh, alright, clearly 5 is way too fast. Let's try 1. Okay, that's working nicely. Oh yeah, that's better. 1 is much better. Okay. Alright, so now we have the left one completed. Now we're going to do the exact same thing, but with the right key. And instead of minus, it's going to be plus, right? Because we're going up. So, if key down, right, Sprite's velocity x, and it's the player, velocity x equals, and then we did a minus here, so we're going to do plus here, plus velocity x. Alright, player velocity x, and then we had minus 1, so let's go plus 1. And reset, and run it. Okay, nicely floating. The left, whoa, left, you know what? That's probably too fast. So let's go 0.5. 0.5. That'll make the game a lot easier to play. Okay. We're done with this one. All right. Looping. So when the rocks go off the screen, they want you to restart again. Respawn. So let's get to the looping. And here we are, line 22. All right. If and it's the rock 1, which is on the Y, or I'm sorry, X. Rock 1's on the X, so we'll do the X first. If velocity X, just sprite X. If, oh, No, 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 no. We need it to be some math, right? So, we want it to go, it starts here, and it's going to the right, so it's building up. So if the rock goes higher than 400, so that would be greater than 400. So here's our greater than. If our rock 1, right, rock 1? Yeah, rock 1's on the X. Okay, so if our rock 1 is greater than, so it goes higher than 400, well, let's go 410 just for the heck of it, a little bit higher. If rock 1 goes higher than 410, then we want it to start over on our Y, which would be off here somewhere. So equals. All right. So on the Y, no, on the X, we want it to start off at 0.5 at negative some negative number. So that would be the X. What am I doing here? Oh, that's fine. Okay. Rock 1 X. So the rock 1 X is going to start over here. Let's go negative 10 so it's off the game board. So it's going to start off at negative 10 over here. And then on the Y, let's have it go some rando number, right? So it's different each time. So it goes, when it gets greater than 410, it respawns over here somewhere on the Y axis between, I don't know, let's say 50 and 350. Okay. So we have our X. Now we have our Y. Rock 1. And then we want random number, right? So because we want it somewhere between there at 50 and 350. 50, 350. All right, let's run it and check it out. Okay, he's floating. It's respawning, so that looks good. Yeah, we're moving nicely. Okay, so that works. So now we want rock 2 to do the opposite, right? Because we want the X to be random this time. So the X to be random and the Y to always be dropping. So let's do it. Control. If rock Y is greater than rock Y, or I'm sorry, rock 2Y. Okay, if rock 2Y is greater than, here's 400, so let's go 410 again. If rock 2Y is greater than 410, then we want it to respawn. Here's our X. Here's our Y. And we want our Y rock 2 to start off out here somewhere, right? So that's going to be negative because, again, this is 0. So up here would be negatives. Negative 10. So it's starting up here somewhere on negative 10, and then we want our random number again. Let's go ahead and do 5350, but on the X. Random number 50, 350, and we'll call it rock 2. Alright, reset and run it. Alright, now let's see, hopefully both of our spawns spawn. And they do, they're going different locations. Yeah, it's working. Alright, good. Do. Was that everything? Oh, yep. Alright. Reset. Or no, finish. Alright, sprite interactions. When your character touches the coin, it should reset somewhere on the screen, and the obstacles should push the characters off the screen. So that's sprite interactions. Where is that? Sprite interactions. Alright, that's on 49. Alright. If reset the coin when the player touches it. So if the player is touching and what did we call the coin? Coin. Alright, if the player is touching the coin, then we want the coin to go to some random number. So let's go ahead and drop in X, and we're going to drop in Y. Oh, let's not do that. There we go. And let's spell player correctly, shall we? Okay. If the player is touching the coin, we want the coin X position to be somewhere random. And we'll go 50, 350 again. Right, because that's a little bit here and a little bit here. And then we want the Y also to be 50, 350. Or whatever you want. 50, 350, coin. Alright, let's check it out. Alright, let's float to the coin. And it does it. Alright, this is working. Cool. Now we want the player to not be able to go through these rocks. So let's go ahead and find those collisions. Okay, player collides with rock 1 and then player collide with rock 2. Alright, now hopefully this will make them not go through each other. Oh, keep playing. Sorry. Okay, woo. Alright, see, it's pushing me to the side, so that is working. Cool. Alright, review your game, test your game, make sure it has everything it needs, play your game several times, read over the project guide. Yeah, the game's done. What we could do later, if we wanted to be so bold, is to start a scoreboard, so he could count coins when he's scoring them. But otherwise, that's a wrap on that one.